here at the workout wall area in the near traps, and I'm really excited for today because we're getting out on To Be or Not To Be, one of the undisputed 512s here in the Gunks. It would be a 4-star classic absolutely anywhere. It's an incredibly rewarding lead, and it's really a route that any climber in the Gunks should aspire to make it to. And the point is that anybody can actually get here, right? Anybody can lead this route, project it, gain the strength, and make it happen. This was FA'd in the mid-1980s, maybe 1986 or something like that, by Russ Clune, Russ Raffa, and Lynn Hill. Russ Clune is obviously a local legend and is known all over the climbing community. Russ Raffa, same thing. Lynn Hill is obviously a world-class legend. First free ascent of the nose in Yosemite. Not the first female ascent, the first free ascent, period. Right? That is as badass as it gets. They FA'd this yo-yo style, which is where you lead up to a certain piece of gear, you fall on it, and then you lower to the ground and go again until you crack it. But the funny thing about it is they tried to edge Russ Clune out. It's cool because this was almost the site of one of the first headpoints in the Gunks. Russ Clune had top roped this before, which was against the ethic at the time. He top roped it before the lead, and then he heard that Russ Raffa and Lynn Hill were going to lead it, and he ran out to meet them, and they kind of tried to keep it a secret from him because they didn't like the ethic in which he did it. And now it receives multiple ascents a year, and headpointing obviously is the accepted style of doing this stuff. My own personal story with this route, which I'll just tell really quick, is I led this a couple of years ago. I actually fell in the upper crux where there's really good gear, and I had to re-lead this harrowing run out, which was scary. I sent, and then my buddy Nick jumped on the lead, and belaying him was, I think, more stressful than the actual climbing, because when you're climbing something that's hard and scary like this, you know how solid you are. But when you're watching somebody climb it, or if you're belaying them and you know it's your responsibility to keep them safe, you're on the edge of your seat wondering if anything could happen at any moment. It's a very stressful thing to do. It's much harder to belay these routes than it is to lead these routes, and it takes a competent, trusted partner. So I led it, Nick led it, and then my wife Sabrina just absolutely walked it on top rope. And we just basically rode the send train all over this thing, which was really, really cool. I think it was one of my favorite days of climbing here in the Gunks. We're here today, we're going to document Kevin from Connecticut. He's one of my favorite partners. When I talk about the climbing in the Gunks, I always talk about the quiet subculture of hard climbers. Like I say, the Gunks is known for 5'6", the Gunks is known for 5'10", and the Gunks really isn't known for 5'12" and up, and a lot of this climbing is really amazing and attainable. And if there's somebody who defines what the quiet subculture is, it's Kevin. He's from Connecticut. He has that built-in Connecticut ethic of hard, scary climbing. Guidebook author. He's the president of the Ragged Mountain Foundation. He's led almost the entire workout wall. He's led a million other hard and scary routes in the Gunks and in Connecticut and in the Adirondacks, all over the place. You would never know. You know, he is the quiet subculture, right? He just sneaks here on a hot, humid Thursday summer morning to put down a 12AX To Be or Not To Be. The cliff is absolutely empty except for us, so that's a really cool thing. I'm excited to tell Kevin's story on this route because I think it'll be really compelling. It's really muggy today.
Hey, yeah.
Hey,
want to do it?
Kevin's crazy.
I really do, but I want to try it.
I want to kill his psych.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
These conditions suck.
This route essentially breaks down as sustained 511 climbing with a couple V4 boulder problems sprinkled in.
I've been top roping this route since like 2014. It was the first time I touched the holds on it. And I first started considering leading it in 2017 with my buddy Nick Ross. Checked out the moves, we were like, oh yeah, it's not too bad, but the gear is kind of scary. So every year I get on it, try to top rope it. Finally felt good enough to get on the this route because I think in some of the guidebooks they give it R, some of the guidebooks they give it X. But just getting on it and going from the gold cam all the way up to basically like the crux of the route. There's no gear unless you bust off left and place something in the flake. That run out is way more, in my mind, way more significant than the run out onto Havertavna or the run out on El Kabong, which I've taken a fall on before in a Black Alien. I'm like, oh yeah, you've just fallen into space. On this, if you fall, you're potentially hitting the ground. It's like, it would be like a 60-foot fall. It'd be huge. I think because of that, it's been years before I've been excited about trying to put this thing.
Gavin.
It went great. Yeah, it felt really good on the route. There was one moment near the top upper crux, where I felt like I was a little bit more nervous. But going through the run out of the route, I felt totally solid. I think it's because I got through the run out part. I put the gear in, and it wasn't until I put the gear in that I was like, oh yeah, shit, now I just got to make sure that I actually do the moves to finish it off.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fall, because I don't want to have to go through that run out again. I kind of felt casual until the end. It's like, because I think I've climbed it so many times, it's like, all right, so at this point in time, it's not the moves that really were holding me back from climbing or leading the route. It was the mental piece of, if I actually fall doing these moves, these are the consequences. Yes. And then deciding, is this something that I'm actually willing to take on? Is this risk worth it? And I think the process of just doing it over and over again is like Connecticut style. So it's like you top rope a route until you're like, you've got it all dialed in, and then you just put in the several pieces of gear that you need for the route to send it.
What made you feel like it was worth it?
This is like one of the best face climbs in the Gunks. It's kind of funny because Todd Swain gives it a 1 star.
Yeah, compared to have or have not.
To have or to have not. Yeah. But Gunks apps to give it 4. I think Dick Williams probably gives it 3. It's definitely a classic.
And what's left on the workout wall?
Bird Brain.
Bird Brain and?
Bird Brain. And then Farewell to Hopefully I put it down right now.
job, man.
Thanks.
It's got to be the second lead on that in the last 20 years.
Fuck, man. Yeah, have you talked to anybody else who's done it after you put out the video?
Nope. Second 12R of the day. How'd it go? One 12X and one 12R.
Went okay. Yeah, it went well.
Yeah.
I sent it. It was a hairy moment. Right hand on a flake, going up for an intermediate before bumping the left hand up to what I would consider a little bit more of a dynamic move before it gets easier. Definitely had to let out a nice solid grunt in order to latch this tiny little edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Gears kind of not too far away from that move, and with a good belayer, keep you off the ground. I think it's definitely, it's a little bit of a sandbag. 12A, that move definitely feels a little bit harder than 12A. Yeah, first time coming out to the Gunks doing two different 12X or R ridge routes.